Hi everyone, thanks for stopping in today. So today's video is going to be over a review of the Blackhawk Knoxx Axiom carbine stock. So I've had this one for about 3 years and this one for about a month, but I haven't found much information online about these, so I thought this video might be helpful to somebody looking for some information on these stocks. So we can start with price. The MSRP is around like 60 bucks, but they can be had for closer to 45, 50. This one was about 47 bucks, and I bought it a month ago off of Optics Planet. But and then weight, they come in around 10 ounces, so definitely not the lightest option out there, probably largely due to there's a lot of really dense polymer and then also this huge rubber butt pad that we'll talk about in a little bit. These are both mil-spec models, but they're available in a commercial spec tube as well. And then, so let's talk a little bit about fit and finish. We can start with the color on this one, the FDE model. So we've got a Magpul FDE grip here, if you want to kind of use that as a truth for, kind of matching an FDE color. I'm trying to get it in a different lighting here, but it matches the Magpul grip almost perfectly. So they got the FDE color right, if that's something that's important to you. The black is obviously just black. And then so the finish with the metal, like I said, I've had this one for a while now, and I've had some issues with these QD cups and then the actual part that locks into the buffer tube as well, rusting. If I find that if I don't have oil on these, they rust pretty quickly, and that happened pretty quickly after having the stock. I've been dealing with that for quite a while now, almost since I've had it. This one hasn't started rusting yet, so maybe they made some improvements. I don't know. It's likely just cheap metal, but just something to be wary of. Speaking of features now, the adjustment lever is way up at the front, and it also, it's obviously not a covered one. It is exposed, so if that matters to you, make sure to keep that in mind. But if you're worried about like shooting off of a bag, this one specifically was on a precision-ish AR that was shot mostly prone, either off of a bag or just off of a hand or something below it. But I have probably well over 1,000 rounds through this one on my other precision AR, and I never once accidentally adjusted the stock. So I think that's pretty squared away, especially since the place where you activate the levers in the front, it'd be really hard to get a bag all the way up there and end up accidentally pushing that. And speaking of shooting off of bags, another thing I found that I really liked with this stock is that this sort of bend acts as a really nice hook. If you have your rear bag and you're trying to load into that bag tight, it kind of makes it nice. You get a good hook into that bag, if you will. A lot of carbine stocks, if they're just straight back, they will tend to kind of want to slide off, at least in my experience with the bag that I use. So now we can talk a little bit about this huge rubber butt pad that is totally unnecessary for a 5.56 rifle. And admittedly, the reason I bought the black stock a while back was just because I thought the hex pad looked so cool. It kind of has a HK 416-ish look, if you will. But keep in mind, it's definitely unnecessary, and it's definitely a lot of extra weight. So if you're going for a lightweight build, this is definitely not the stock for you. Also, each stock the stock has 3 QD locations, one on each side of the lever, and then this third one comes loose in the box, and you can mount it in either side. But you can see on both of these stocks, I've got it on the bolt release side of the rifle. That's kind of neat that they give you the option to move it around. To take the stock off, you do have to pull down on the actual pin itself that fits in the carbine tube. There's no way to leverage the lever to get it off, so that would have been nice. But again, I think that comes back to the design of it being flush and only being able to be activated from the front to where you can't get it with a bag. But that is kind of a pain to get off. If that matters to you, it doesn't to me. I rarely, if ever, take stocks off of my rifles, but something to keep in mind. Also, it's worth mentioning that this whole locking mechanism that actually locks into the buffer tube is a pretty beefy metal pin, so I don't think you'll have any issues at breaking that. So this is my biggest gripe of the stock, and the thing that would make me most weary of buying it for like a duty rifle or something, or like a rifle used in a carbine course. So the fitment of the stock is pretty loose, which is not an issue of itself. A lot of stocks are that way. It actually it's nice, so if you do get them dirty, they don't bind up. But This stock does come with this little bitty screw here. See if I can get that on the camera. You can see right there, that little screw. And what that does is it squeezes this mouth on the bottom flat part of the buffer tube to try to make your stock fit snugger, I guess. So when I first got this one, it was incredibly loose on the buffer tube. So I was tightening and tightening and tightening, and to no avail. It didn't ever become snugger, which you can imagine just squeezing it here doesn't necessarily keep the back end tighter. But anyway, and then after a while I found that this plastic had broke right here. You can see this plastic tab broke, and that I did that about the first week of having this. I noticed that. So it's been like this for 3 years now with no issues, but just keep in mind, be wary if you're trying to crank down on that screw. You definitely can break this thin plastic tab. I wouldn't worry so much about the durability of everything else on the stock, because like these QD points, like they have the plastic's really thick here. It's just that those tabs were made way too thin to serve that purpose. On this one, actually, the newer one, I haven't even bothered trying to tighten the screw because it's not worth breaking one of those tabs to me. But that is just something to keep in mind. So overall impressions on durability, I have no question that these stocks are super durable. I mean, the polymer's thick, they're heavy, they're really beefy stocks, if you will, other than this issue. But that's not really an issue if you don't want to have your stock fit super tight. If you do, this is definitely not the stock for you. Also, if you're trying to build a lightweight rifle, this is definitely not the stock for you. It's heavy. I mean, maybe if you took this rubber pad off, it'd come in at closer to 6 or 8 ounces. But at that point, you're paying a lot for a stock that you're having to modify. But I've enjoyed them. Both of these stocks, duly noted, this one I've had for a while. It's never been run through a carbine course or anything hard. It's been on a precision rifle setup, so it hasn't had a very hard life, but I don't doubt the durability of them. They do have if you look through here, let me get that line, they have a hole. You can see the light at the end there. So if you do get some kind of moisture, debris, that'll help dry it out and keep it from settling in there. But yeah, overall, these stocks, I think they're good. I don't know if they really are the best option out there. If you're like me and you like the aesthetic of them, then go for it. But I don't really see a role that they fit that another stock can't do better for equal or less money and weight. But other than that, that's all I have to say about these. If you have any questions about them, make sure to drop a comment. I'll get back to you. If you liked the video, please leave a like on it. If you disliked it, drop a dislike and let me know why in the comments so I can help make these videos higher quality. But other than that, that's all I have, and thanks for watching.